Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier. This is Piracy Show. Let's go. Now, a couple of episodes ago, or at least in a few episodes, I have mentioned the anniversary sale coming up as, when we were talking about CitizenCon and of course the sales that come along with CitizenCon. I was saying be careful because remember the anniversary sale is just around the corner, and so some people have been asking questions about it. And so I want to clarify why so many people look forward to the anniversary sale and what you need to know going into it. Now, we don't have any facts or exact dates right now. Generally, November 21st, the week around November 21st, generally seems to be the anniversary sale. It might start, I think one year it started as early as the 18th, and the other one it started on the 21st, the last couple, I think. And it goes to the 26th, the 27th, it depends. Now, generally what happens during the anniversary sale is each day leading up to the last day, or the Sunday, is a theme day. Let's say day one is military ships, and of course things like the Super Hornet or the Gladiator are available. And then day two might be racing ships, and you'll see ships like the Razor or the 350R. As an example, and then each ship will follow a similar theme, or each day, will follow a similar theme, like there'll be an exploration day, a cargo day, so on and so forth. On the final day of the sale, everything is available. All the doors are kicked open, so except for quantity limited ships, like the Vanduul Blade, or pretty much any of the Vanduul ships. I'm not sure if the Asperia Prowler is going to be up for grabs. Probably, I would say, but that one's kind of up in the air. We'll have to wait and see on that one, but pretty much every ship that is not quantity limited is available during this time. That includes the Javelin and the Idris as well. Now, when it's called a sale, it isn't what you might traditionally think of as a sale, where everything's marked down in price. Generally, the only thing that's marked down in price is the discounted game packages that you're supposed to give to your friends. Wink, wink. Apart from that, nothing is really priced down, but everything is usually on the table and available, and this is when players will take a hard look at their hangar and generally consolidate, out of some ships and kind of focus in on others. Or, as the games evolve, people's minds change about some of the things they bought. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you've just got into the Star Citizen thing over the last year, and maybe you've picked up a few things. Maybe you picked up an Origin X1 space bike and a Nox space bike, and, just little things to get around with, little, maybe even LTI tokens. But your big expense, the big ship that you bought, something that really caught your eye when you saw it, was the Aegis Eclipse. So you've got your Aegis Eclipse, this wicked stealth bomber, kind of really focused into that stealth bomber and stealth bomber only role, but you're into that. That's your thing 100%. You start looking out for other players or other orgs that maybe have a specialist group all into this ship. And you think, hey, this ship on its own, not so great, but maybe as part of a whole squadron, it could be kind of a good thing. So you go out and you look for an org that's maybe even specialized in this ship, and you find one, and you say, hey, I'd like to get on your guys' Discord and talk to you, yada, yada, yada. So you hop on their Discord. So you have a chat with these guys, and, they seem like really cool guys. They're fine. Everything's cool, But, they're talking to you about tactics and things like that, and they're saying, we're going to be super, super organized. We're going to be, doing drills all the time. We're going to focus on making sure that you never get spotted. We're going to be coming out of nowhere. No one's going to see us come in, blah, blah, blah. But it's going to take hours of work and practice to really nail it down, because we really want to make sure our organization is looked upon as elite and yada, yada, yada. And you start to think, maybe the Eclipse really isn't for me. I can see the value in what they're saying, but I kind of want to take more of a generalist vibe, I don't really want to be so much of a specialist. maybe I want to go out cruising on my space bike, and just exploring the game and having fun, and I don't want to have my game time so tied up into this one ship and this one, kind of firm definition of tactics and what I can do and what I can't do. Maybe I would kind of want to open up a few options, And the anniversary sale is a great time to kind of reflect on what you've purchased and kind of sit there and say, maybe this doesn't really fit with who I am realistically. And it's always a good question to ask yourself because, we tend to idealize the things that we purchase. And we're not just talking about spaceships, but in life. We tend to idealize things, and we tend to look at something and say, oh, this is the gateway into me doing that, or this is the gateway into me doing the other thing. But when you start to really realize everything that possibly entails, maybe not so much. Maybe you just want to go out and cruise on your Dragonfly after all. So you step back and let's say you look at the Dragonfly, or you look at the Dragonfly, you look at the Eclipse, but you also take a look at the Gladiator and you say, you know what? The Eclipse is great. The Eclipse looks fine, and maybe down the road I will purchase one. I will get into one. But I think if I start off with the Gladiator instead, that ship can also be converted to haul cargo, and they've even done a little write-up about it possibly being used as salvage as well. And that's a ship that's already in game, so I can start right off with that Gladiator, and I can just melt the Eclipse and take one of my space bikes and turn it into an LTI Gladiator. Or maybe I just want to change things altogether, just looking at what's coming up real soon in the game. Maybe I don't want to get the Gladiator just yet. Maybe I want to go in a different direction. Maybe I'm going to melt my Eclipse because, I can always get it back in the future. And, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy a Cutlass to go along with one of my space bikes. And as 3.0 comes out, the Cutlass is already in. It's the brand new Cutlass, the upgraded one that can carry that space bike, and I can just go out and explore the game and have fun. And then as the Eclipse gets closer to becoming a reality in the game, maybe then I will then melt the Cutlass and then just simply repurchase my Eclipse and then switch to that ship. But maybe the Cutlass for right now is a better solution for how I want to play the game and just explore and have fun for now, and then I'll move up to the Eclipse again later. Never be afraid to step back and look at your hangar and ask some really tough questions. You should never be afraid of the question. If you're afraid of the question, you're not really afraid of the question. You're more afraid of the answer. And so, take a step back, look at that hangar and say, what belongs and what doesn't really belong anymore. What, perhaps I bought something and I kind of over-idealized it when I purchased it. And the way that we've seen the game flesh out a little bit so far, and hopefully a lot more soon, that my idealization no longer matches with the game, but this over here does look interesting. It's also a time when maybe you missed out on the original sale of a big ship, or you didn't have the money to purchase that big ship, like a Carrack, for example, or a Banu Merchantman. But now you've bought a few ships over the years since then, and you're like, you know what? I can get that Banu Merchantman. I heard they just started work on that Banu Merchantman, and if I melt this, and this, I can then buy that Banu Merchantman that I always wanted. Maybe now's the time. And so it's always a good idea to always kind of look at your fleet and try to get rid of the excess, get rid of the flights of fancy, if you will, and focus in more on the things that are really going to propel you forward when that day finally comes, when we're at release and we can actually get out there and really do things and we have a full-featured game to play around in. So that's more or less a primer on the anniversary sale. Of course, we don't have specific dates or a schedule yet, but as we get closer to it and we get that schedule, I think I'm going to take time out of a few piracy shows to basically do some videos focusing in on certain ships, that I think are standouts in the Star Citizen lineup, ships that I think are excellent in many respects. I think ships that are really well designed and very strong and not so far off on the horizon as to be, years away from completion. Genesis Starliner. Anyways, that's what I'm going to be doing over the next little while, having to do with the anniversary sale. Hopefully give you guys a lot to think about before that time comes around. But that is the show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.